Do you guys want to watch that again? Listen closely to what is being said here.
They will see. Death was never meant to be chained.
So we know that the first one's realm is called Zereth Mortis, right? Shay just brought up a wonderful thing here. Perplexity, death. In other words, chaining death, keeping death at bay. This is the job of the first ones. Now, before we get into anything else, let's go through the very confusing thing again for everyone that just joined. Our universe was built by one group of the first ones. The group of the first ones, or at least according to the brokers, there seems to be 6 powers. But the 6 powers used to be 3 powers. At least that's what it looks like to them. But the 3 powers was at first 2 powers. The 2 powers became 3, the 3 powers became 6. The 6 powers was at flux. They were fighting with it. They weren't happy. They were sort of like brothers and sisters punching each other in the dick the whole fucking time, right? But at some point, the 6 powers came into balance. We do not know if the 6 powers that came into balance was the birth of the 7th power, but the 7th power was the one that brought the 6 powers into balance. What we do know is that there is 7 powers, 6 powers that is in balance, and a 7th power that may be a fractal of the 6, or maybe the balance bringer of the 6. We don't know, but there is 7 powers, also 6 powers, also 3 powers, but all of those powers makes 1 power, because there's 1 power. That 1 power is the power that created our universe. Then there is another power, the power outside of our universe. That power the brokers know nothing about. They simply know that there is a power outside of our universe. So you have 1 power, our universe, another power outside of our universe. We don't know anything about that power. Don't even bother with that power. Fuck all's there, right? It's basically like watching a cinematic recently from Blizzard Entertainment. You don't know anything, you will never know anything, just fucking ignore that power for now. But focus on this power. What is this power? It's called the first ones. The first ones are the ones that we are told created our souls, the anima. The anima comes from them. They also created the Shadowlands. It seems like they may have created the reality that we live in. It seems also that they may have created the 6 cosmological forces that we live in right now, right? That's what the first ones did. Now, the first ones we didn't know anything about. But if Shay is correct, and I'm saying if because I don't know, it's much like watching a Blizzard cinematic at this point, but if Shay is correct, and the first ones is indeed Perplexity, Death, that's what the realm is called, Zereth Mortis, Perplexity and Death, if they are indeed the ones that is meant to chain death, then that means that they are the first ones of life, and they have chained death. Now, I have asked this before, and we'll quickly head over to Wowhead so that I can just prove that I am not wrong about this. I called this right at the fucking start, so I'm very happy that it finally came out. I'm very, very fucking happy that it finally came out. Okay, so that's a bit much. Can you guys see this? Hopefully you can see this. Okay, High Lord Bolvar Fordragon tells the Primus what we witnessed in the Arbiter's chamber. Well, it was beyond mortal understanding. The Primus, once Zuvul stood among us as the Arbiter, yet he defied the will of the First Ones and sought to unmake the balance of the cosmos. He did not stand among them as the Arbiter. The Arbiter is not just another Eternal One. The Arbiter is the leader of the Shadowlands. It's the one that decides where all mortal souls go. By definition, it's the one that decides the purpose and the future of the Shadowlands. If the Arbiter decides that no souls go anywhere, the Shadowlands dies and there's not much that you can do about it. The Arbiter is the leader of the Shadowlands. You can either take that on face value or you can take that as a matter of fact, but no matter what, whoever is the Arbiter must surely also then be the leader of the Shadowlands. This means that Zuvul is the leader of the Shadowlands. Now, I've been asking this question multiple times. I kept asking myself, how is it that a creature that was built by the First Ones, that has a singular purpose, its purpose is to ensure that mortal souls go and feed the Shadowlands and that the cycle of birth and rebirth is consistently maintained, what would happen to make such a creature spot a flaw in the design? Now with Sargeras, that is easy. The reason Sargeras spotted a flaw in their own design is because of Zuvul. Zuvul sent the Nathrezim to him, and the Nathrezim lied to him about the Void, and this drove Sargeras to abandon the Pantheon and abandon the Titans and their sacred duty. With Zuvul, something similar must have happened because prior to this, Sargeras had no interest in going against these brothers. Prior to this, Sargeras was happy to do the job that he was meant to be doing. It was only until Zuvul interfered that Sargeras finally went, oh wait, no, this is a bad idea. We should change our ways. So what happened to Zuvul? Now, if we are to say that the one that is the sixth, that is the seventh, that is the one that created our universe, is the first ones of life, then this means that the other one must be the first ones of death. And that means that this fucking line finally makes sense.
3 keys remain. Then they will see. Death was never meant to be chained.
Boom. Right there. Zuvul is working for the other. It is the other first ones, the ones who are not part of our universe, that influenced him. It's the one who explained to him that the universe is broken. The universe cannot be in balance because the universe was never created by beings that care about balance. It was created to consistently... I had it all wrong. I kept thinking that the universe was built to feed death, but really, that's a lie. The universe was built to feed life. You see, life, the whole purpose of life is you live and then you die and then it's over. That life doesn't have control over death. Life is a finite amount of time that you are alive and then you die. But thanks to the way the first ones built the universe, they were able to build this perpetual motion fucking system where, you know, death would feed life again. So life would effectively become immortal. It would conquer death. Death truly was chained. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you come up with a speculation theory on the fucking fly for World of Warcraft. And if Blizzard decides to tell the story any differently, they are wrong. Because this is how you tell a fucking story.